Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Chairman Crawford, for leading this issue and for your support of this oversight review. The American people deserve a government that is accountable and transparent. Oversight of the intelligence community is intended to ensure those in that community are held to this same standard. As the chairman of the Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee, there is no greater priority than ensuring elements of the IC are employing proper investigative and analytic tradecraft independent of political considerations. That is why we worked around the clock to review the case file provided by Director Patel and publish this vital oversight report just weeks later. My subcommittee is conducting several ongoing investigations and oversight initiatives with a common thread. Intelligence analysis and assessments are falling short of the objectivity and integrity standards required by law. As Chairman Crawford already stated, it is extremely concerning that the FBI had enough confidence in their shoddy investigative efforts to conclude that this was, quote, suicide by cop and close this file. If you read the report, you will see this is absolutely ridiculous. Most notably, our report finds that there were no hard facts to support the FBI's suicide by cop conclusion. Based on our review of 3,000 plus pages provided to the committee, the only reasonable and, quite frankly, the very obvious determination was that this was an act of domestic terrorism. Despite those clear and contrary facts indicating domestic terrorism, the FBI's investigative efforts and intelligence analysis strained to reinforce this predetermined suicide by cop narrative. For example, to support the FBI analysis that this shooter conducted an opportunistic act of suicide by cop, the FBI analysis refers to comments by a family member speculating at the possibility based on a lack of significant number of fatalities. He didn't think that enough people died for that to be the case. Aside from being incredibly offensive to the 4 victims shot by the attacker, this analysis fails to note that the shooting began, there were absolutely no uniformed police officers anywhere around visible to the shooter. Further, the FBI analysis claimed that the shooter moved toward the gunfire. There was absolutely no support for this claim in the case file. The FBI did not conduct critical interviews with victims and eyewitnesses. As a result, no witnesses were given an opportunity to contradict this theory. On the other hand, the media did interview the eyewitnesses, and they found that the shooter targeted victims from a concealed position in order to protect himself. Finally, our report finds that the FBI's press release was used to mislead and influence public opinion. For example, the FBI told the public that the photos the shooter had taken at the baseball field, quote, did not represent surveillance of intended targets. Yet, the internal official report that we reviewed, the case file states, quote, the FBI assesses photos may indicate possible probing and casing. In addition, the FBI used deceptive language to hide the fact that the shooter had a handwritten manifesto, which was found in his van, indicating his real motive. His real motive was assassinating Republican congressmen to, quote, win back the power of the people. Regardless of political party, we must all stand united against political violence of any kind and condemn this violent attack as what it really was, an act of domestic terrorism. While I am deeply disappointed by the conduct of the FBI under Acting Director McCabe in 2017, I am encouraged by the transparency shown by Director Patel. I will continue to work with Chairman Crawford to bring integrity, objectivity, and accountability back to the FBI and the rest of the intelligence community. Long story short, we have a long way to go to rebuild and reestablish the trust and the confidence of the American people in the FBI, the DOJ, and our intelligence community. This starts that process. Thank you, and with that, I will turn it over to Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan to say a few words.